Everyone's waiting for mortgage rates to drop. What if you had a system that automatically finds and analyzes the best investment properties before the market takes off again? And the best part, you don't need experience or a team. This workflow does the math, filters the noise, and only shows you exactly what you need. In this video, I'll walk you through how to build an AI-powered real estate investing workflow. From pulling live listings to calculating cap rate, cash flow, ROI, and even sending yourself daily summaries of the local market sentiment, all while you sleep. I'm going to show you how this workflow works. So this is scheduled to go off daily, but you can customize it to however often you would like it. I've set the location to Long Beach, California, which is an up and coming market. I've set my buy box, which includes the max price, number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, the square footage, and the type of home. I'm going to go ahead and execute the workflow. And as you can see, it's pulling data from Zillow and it's filtering out by the best deals based on our criteria. It has loaded it up to Airtable. Now it's having AI analyze everything, formatting the email, and then sending that to us. Now I'm going to show you the email. All right, so this is the actual email. At the very top, you have your real estate market sentiment of the area code that you're searching for. In my example, I have Long Beach. So if we scroll down, we're going to see some addresses sorted by the best ones at the top. We're going to have your address, your home price, your net operating income, your cap rate, the cash flow, the cash on cash return, the return on investment, and the price per square foot, all laid out perfectly, emailed to me daily. I know this looks complicated, but I'm going to build it for you step by step right now. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to create a schedule trigger. This is going to allow us to have the workflow run whatever we want it to. So just type in schedule. That's the one we want. If you want to customize how often you want this trigger to go off, you can customize that on the left side here. Exit out of this by clicking back to canvas. Now we're going to add an edit fields node. And this is where we're going to set up our buy box. And we're going to come back to this later in a second because I want you to go to rapidapi.com. So open up a new tab, type in rapidapi.com, create an account, and don't worry, it's free. Up top here in the search bar, type in Zillow. Then you're going to look for this guy right here by Sabri. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but yeah, there it is. Click that. Then you're going to click for search for properties. This is going to allow us to pull all the data from Zillow based on some criteria. Then you're going to hover over to parameters. And here's where we're going to set up our buy box. Right now it says Houston, Texas, but don't worry because we're going to be able to change that later on in this video. I'll put JSON, leave everything else, scroll down, keep scrolling until you see a price max. Just put a random number just so we have a placeholder because we're going to be able to change this later on again and I'll show you. Just follow along exactly for now. The next thing I want to change is the minimum bedroom count. So I'm going to go with 3. Next, I'm going to go with minimum bathroom count, which I'm going to go with 2. And there's other things that you want if you want that data in your buy box, like what year it was built, if it has a pool, if it has an HOA, if it has parking spots, if you're looking for a specific school rating, whatever you want, just type it in and you'll have a placeholder. Then you're going to hover to the top right and copy this curl over here. Make sure code snippets is selected. Copy this. Go back to init, hit the plus sign, type in HTTP request. Hit import curl right here. Paste that curl that you copied earlier. Then hit import. Now we have everything auto-populated for this node. Basically what it's doing is it's getting information from the website we were just on and allowing us to scrape the data that we want from Zillow based on our criteria. So earlier we had location here and was able to pull Houston, Texas. Output JSON, status for sale, sort selection by priority score. These were already preset. Listing type by agent, the price max. Right here we have placeholders, bedroom minimum count, bathroom minimum count, and your API key, which is something you want to keep secret. I'm going to delete and change this later, so don't copy. So you remember the placeholders I was talking about? Let's go back. I'm going to delete those. Let's delete this for the bathroom minimum count, bedroom minimum count, the price max, and I think the last one was city, the location. I'm going to delete that because we're going to go backwards now to our edit fields node and we're going to add those here. So we had location and you want to spell it exactly the same way. So let's go with Long Beach. I'm going to go back to the HTTP request node and copy it so I make sure everything is spelled and capitalized the same way, which is pretty much all undercase. Let's go to bed minimum. I think the last one will be bath underscore minimum. I think that's exactly how it's formatted. I will double check because I've got a little bit of OCD. Okay, now we can customize it here in our edit fields node in our workflow instead of having to go back to this Rapid API and having to change it through here every single time. Now you can change it here and I'll show you how to do that in a second because let's just execute this for now. Oh wait, hold on. I forgot to put in some numbers. So for the price max, let's just go with 950,000 and then bed minimum 3, bath minimum 2. Okay, let's execute that again. Okay, now everything's filled out. I'm gonna go back here and for the location, I'm gonna set this to an expression. Now we're gonna be able to drag this over. Now the value will be Long Beach. If you don't understand what's going on, don't worry, just follow exactly what I'm doing. bed price max, dragged over the wrong one. So price max is this one, bed minimum, drag it over, bath minimum, drag it over. Now let's execute this step and it should pull all the data. And if it doesn't work, it's probably because you haven't subscribed. So make sure you subscribe to this API endpoint and it's free. Then it should work. I already did that. That's why it's working and it's pulled all the data. So if you look here, we have some property already and there's a decent amount of results. So if you want to customize to your buy box, you can go ahead and change those numbers or cities there. And if you have additional fields, make sure you do the same for those too. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to label these things. So let's label this one buy box. This is going to be scrape Zillow. I'm also going to pin this data. This is just saving the data so we don't have to continue to scrape it over and over again because sometimes it costs credits and it takes a long time. Now we pulled a bunch of different properties from Long Beach, but it's all in one item set. And we need to split those out so we can work with the data a little bit better. And here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna click out of that, hit the plus sign, and then just simply type in split out node. This is a very easy step and straightforward. Then you're gonna drag over results. Make sure you're in the schema setting, drag over results, and you should be able to split it all out. So now we have 41 items separated by each address. Now that that step's done, the data still is not perfect and not the best for us to work with because we still need to tidy it up a little bit. So let's go back out of here and then add an edit fields node. This is where we're going to be able to customize how everything looks. And I'll show you what I mean. So I'm just going to click this and I'm going to type in address because if you look on the left side, the address is kind of like split out. So you have the street, you have the state, you have the zip code. It's all kind of like split out. Let's get it all tidied up together. So I'm going to drag that over. Then I'm going to drag over the city and it is somewhere else up here. It's up here. As you can see, it's a little unorganized. After city, we're going to need the state and then the zip code. Let's look for the zip code. Where is it? The zip code is right here. So drag that over. Boom. And the result's going to be down here, as you can see. So it looks like we're going to need to add some spacing. And add a space there, space there, space there. So each double curly bracket is separating each variable. So I went ahead and added the rest of the data sets that I wanted, like home status, home type, bathroom, bedroom, lot area value, living area, price, rent estimate, ZIPD. You probably won't need this. And basically what I did is just dragged over what I wanted. So I'll show an example. I just picked up living area like this, right? Drag that over here. Didn't change much. The only one I changed was the address because it was formatted in a way that didn't make sense. And like I was explaining earlier, I added the spaces between the curly brackets so the format can look a little bit nicer. I just executed this step and now you can see the address is all in one line and everything else that we wanted is here. And I'm going to title this tidy up. Now that we have all the data that we need, how are we going to calculate cash on cash return, cap rate, net operating income? You may think you have to do it manually, but no, you don't. And I'll show you how right now. I'm going to exit out of this, just click out somewhere over here, hit the plus sign, type in code, this one with the yellow curly brackets or orange. Let's delete this default and I'm going to include this code in the description down below. How I got it with Claude Opus 4.1, the most powerful coding LLM right now on the market. And basically I gave it all the formulas on how to calculate all those numbers that we wanted and create a code that can calculate all that data that is going to be fed from the previous node so it can split out the result. How it does that, I don't know. I'm not a coder, but down in the description will be everything you need. But let me explain a few things. So this is assuming that the down payment is going to be 20% and the closing cost will be 3%. And here are all the other assumptions like the annual interest rate, if it's a 30-year mortgage, if there's going to be 3% appreciation, what the property tax annually will be, yearly insurance rates, monthly maintenance, whatever, vacancy rates. So if you want to change those, you can here. So whatever's in the gray text is just notes. Like other than that, everything else you can change. So this 20, let's say you want to do 10%, just change that to a 0.1. Closing costs, you want to change the percentage to like 5, you'll change it to 0.05. You get the picture. Let's test this step to make sure everything works. All right, now we have some numbers down here. So we have the assumptions of the down payment, closing costs, rehab costs, whatever. I put it at 0. Property value, yada, 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 yada. And here are all our calculations. Your net operating income, the cap rate, the cash flow, cash on cash return, equity growth, ROI, price per square foot, everything we need. Now, let's rename this to investor calculator. I'm going to zoom in a little bit and you can see we have 41 items. I don't want to be emailed 41 items, 10 max, and only want the best of them. And we're going to do that by 2 steps. First step, we're going to do sort node. Click that. We're going to add a field and we're going to sort by cap rate. I want the ones with the best cap rate. let's go down, drag over cap rate here, and descending. So the best cap rates at the top. Okay, let's execute that step. Okay, now it's sorted by the best cap rates, but still we have 41 items. How are we gonna limit to 10? Exactly that. We're gonna limit it with a limit node. So go ahead and type in limit, and we're gonna do max items to 10, but set it to whatever you want. Let's go ahead and execute that. Now we have the top 10 properties based on the cap rate. Now that we have scraped 10 of the best properties in Long Beach, I want to be able to store that into a database somehow. And I like to use Airtable. And if you're not familiar with Airtable, just imagine Google that has been juicing a little bit. Hit the plus sign, type in Airtable, and we're going to create or update data. If you don't have an account, I'll show you how to create one. Go to create an account, then you're gonna go to airtable.com, create an account with Airtable. I'll leave a link to it in the description if you need it. You're gonna create a new workspace, click build your own. I have yet to figure out how to delete all this in an easier way, but you're gonna have to just do it one by one. So go ahead and delete everything one by one, delete. All right, you will have one left because you won't be allowed to delete this one, but we're gonna go ahead and just edit it. Let's rename this one to address, okay? And then you're gonna leave it to single line text, save. Now we're gonna add in the rest of these, which will all be numbers. So you're gonna type in number, and then you're gonna name it. So I'm gonna keep doing that and fill in all the data sets that I want. All right, so now that I have every data set that I want, I have bedroom, bath, price, the rent estimate, living square footage, lot square footage, the down payment, property tax that's monthly, home insurance, closing costs, mortgage payment, principal payment, NOI, cap rate, you get it. Everything you have here, you can pause and take a look. This step was a little bit tedious, but trust me, you only have to do it once. And it's gonna save you a lot of time in the long run. Now we're gonna need our access tokens and all that so we can connect it to end-to-end. So hover down to the bottom left to your account. Now you're gonna go to Builder Hub. Once you're here, you're gonna hit create a token. You can name it whatever you want, like end-to-end workflows, whatever. You're gonna add some scopes, and the scopes that you're gonna need are all right here in end-to-end. So data records read, data records write, schema bases read. Go ahead and select all those. Then you want to add all your resources. Create your token, copy this key, go back to end-to-end, and then paste that here. Okay, then you should be able to choose everything. So if I go back, keep scrolling back until you get back to your Airtable, which I named earlier before the video, Zillow Scraper Demo. So that's what we're looking for. And table will be table 1. So now we're back in end-to-end, and we're gonna look for Zillow Scraper Demo, which is here. And we're gonna choose table 1. All right, columns to match on. I'm gonna change this to the address. And you're doing this because when you're scraping Zillow every day, there might be updates to the price, and you want that to be updated to the same line instead of creating a duplicate line of that address. Let me execute this step and explain it a little bit better. So let's drag this over. Actually, we're gonna select address. And now we're just gonna drag over the corresponding data sets. So address is here, bedroom, bath, you get the picture. I don't wanna bore you with the rest. Now everything's done, we can execute it and let's see if it goes through. Let's look at Zillow. Oh, and it's populating. So let me explain what I meant earlier. When we did, so this is supposed to be creator update. Remember that? And then it's supposed to be by address. Okay, I don't know why this is there. You can go ahead and delete that. So whenever you update this table, you don't want to make duplicates of, let's say, this address here, because we're scraping it daily, and if it's still on the market, it's going to be scraped again. But the one thing we do want is if the price changes, we want that to be updated. So that instead of creating a new line, it will match the addresses and update that exact same row so you don't have any duplicates. I hope that made sense. Now we're going to feed that all into an AI so it can start making it look a little bit better for an email. Hit the plus sign. Type in OpenAI. You can use any LLM you want, but I like OpenAI. Go to message and model. If you don't have an account, go to create account. All you need is an API key. So go over to a new tab. Type in OpenAI API. Hit that, hover over to the top right, click API platform, create an account, log in, whatever, hit the gear icon for settings, get your API key here, hit create new secret key, title it, create key, copy it, and don't expose it to anybody. Just keep it to yourself. But copy that, you're gonna paste that key here, okay? Next, you're gonna have to go to billing and add a little bit of money. And I would say just add a few bucks, like $5. It's gonna last you months and months. Anyway, once you've pasted your API key, go ahead and click save and you should be good to go. Then you're gonna hover down and choose a model. 4.1 mini is cheap and is plenty enough. Go ahead and select that. For user prompt, I'm just gonna type here is the data, and we're gonna drag in field right over here. But the result is coming out as an object. Quick fix. Okay, and ask ChatGPT how to do this. So type in JSON.stringify. You can add some parentheses, and now the AI should be able to see all the data. Now we're gonna add a system prompt. Go ahead and select system, hit expression, enlarge it. So this is the prompt. I'll leave it in the description below. I'll also leave the user prompt in the description below. We can pause the video, copy it, or you can get this from the description below. But basically what it's saying, you are a professional real estate analyst. You will summarize the data. And this is exactly how I want everything outputted. So I'm going to go ahead and rename this guy to data summarizer. Again, links to all these prompts will be in the description below, but we're going to execute this step now. Now that it's done, we have 10 items on the right side, as you see here. Now what we want to do is kind of aggregate everything so we can feed it into a code node that can change into an HTML format that can be sent to an email that will make it look a lot nicer. So we're gonna go hit the plus sign right here. I'm gonna type in aggregate, hit enter, and the field that we're gonna be aggregating is the content. So once you execute, you should have one item with all your summaries. Okay, there you go. Now we're gonna feed that into a code node. Press enter. Let's title this code node HTML formatter. Real creative, right? All right, delete this default. I had Claude Sonnet 4.0 create this code to kind of format everything in a nice HTML format. You can go ahead and copy this because I'll link this in the description below, or you can go ahead and make your own. Doesn't matter. But what we want is a nice HTML format. I'm gonna go test this out. All right, we got a nice HTML format. And I'll show you what it looks like in the email later on. But now we have to have ChatGPT summarize the current market sentiment. So let's go with an OpenAI model. Just type it in. Hit enter. I'm gonna just use a message model, connect your account since we already did earlier. You just use the same account. And we're gonna go with 4.1 mini, which should be plenty enough. As for the prompt, I'm gonna go ahead and paste it in. Let's see, this is airing out. So let's go ahead and delete that and add in the zip code, which you can find on the left side. This troubleshooting is the name of the game. You're gonna be doing this over and over, and you're just gonna get better and better as you learn. But we need to find a zip code. So it's gonna be somewhere on the left or something more recent. Let's go over here in my Airtable node and look for the zip code. Actually, let's go back a little bit further to the Zillow scraper. All right, right here, zip code. So I'm just gonna drag that over. All right, now we have a zip code. Basically, what I'm telling you to do is include a brief summary of the real estate market sentiment for this current date. Okay, so this is a variable for the area code, whatever we're looking for. And I only wanted to do it once for that area. I mean, you can link this up to Tavily or whatever research article that you want to use, but I'm just gonna leave it as this for now, just for testing purposes. All right, once that's done, let's go ahead and execute, see what it does. Okay, so we have one summary of the current market sentiment. Let's go ahead and reformat this in an HTML format again. So same as before, we're gonna use a code node, press enter. Let's delete this default. Again, I use Claude for this, and I will link it down below in the description. I'm gonna name this one HTML formatter 2. All right, let's execute the step. All right, now we have nice HTML format. Now, last step, we have to send this email. Gmail, send a message. And if you're not connected, let's go ahead and connect our account. So go ahead and create credential. It's pretty simple. Go ahead and click sign in with Google and just pick the account that you want to sign in with. Once you're connected, we're gonna hover down to the email we're gonna send it to. I'm gonna use an old email of mine. And for the subject, we're gonna go with real estate update. And then email type, leave it as HTML. So the first thing I'm gonna add is the HTML body for this from the HTML formatter 2. Then I'm gonna add the summaries from the first HTML formatter. So let's drag that over. All right, let's go ahead and test this step. Okay, it's done. Let's check it out. All right, guys, take a look. Real estate market sentiment has a brief summary here. The date is August 8th, which is not too current, but we can always fix that later on. As far as the summaries of each property, got Long Beach, got the address, home price, net operating income, cap rate, cash flow, cash on cash return, return on investment, price per square foot. Not sure why this is 0. Maybe they just didn't provide the square footage for this property, but they did here. So that's good. So if you're looking to invest in real estate and you want an easy way to kind of analyze all the properties nearby without having to spend hours researching and crunching numbers on your own, this is an amazing tool to have, and it's so easy to build. Because what I'll do is once I have all these addresses and everything emailed to me on the daily, I'll choose the ones that look the best to me. I'll copy the address and kind of look at it myself. I'll look at the pictures, I'll look at everything and see if it's the right property for me. It's a great way to quickly filter out all the properties that you actually want to invest in and take a look at without having to bother a real estate agent or hire a real estate agent. So it's going to be really valuable and save you a bunch of time. If you want to find out more ways on how you can leverage artificial intelligence to automate your personal life or your business, check out this video. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you like and subscribe.